Gengar Gang, what is going on? My name is Ryan, this is the Analytic Gengar, and welcome to another video. In today's episode of TCG Toolkit, friends, we do a read-along of a really cool article that I found, and we explore a comprehensive review of Rarity in the Pokemon TCG. What does this mean? In today's video, we'll be learning about all of the different types of rarity that have existed in the Pokemon TCG, because it's a very key and critical part of understanding how the Pokemon trading card game works, and more importantly, what cards exist that you want to go after. Of course, with a lot more people entering the hobby now more than ever, it's going to be super important for people to understand not only how complex the rarity system of the common ultra-modern sets are, but also to look way back to the very vintage sets and do the same. And in today's video, we're going to start at the WOTC era and go all the way through the EX era of cards, reading along as I present to you this really cool article that I found and adding some additional insight on top of what the article already says. In addition to that, the video series for this particular topic will model the article, which is a two-parter, which means we're going to have a first video which will cover everything from WOTC to the EX era, and we'll have a second video that will cover everything from the 4th generation all the way up to Sun and Moon. For the sake of argument, because we really don't have that much impressive data on US pull rates for Sword and Shield, it has been excluded from this video, but in the future you can definitely expect to see an update of this particular topic that will contain those particular sets. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. A big shout out to Flipside Gaming, particularly their blog section, and the Cardpletionist, who is the original poster of this particular article. Definitely feel free to go check out their website. They're not sponsoring this video in any way, shape, or form, but I do like to source my material properly, and more importantly, I do like to give credit where credit is due, and I wouldn't have an article to go off of if they had not entertained this blog post in the first place. So, with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Now, this article is pretty cool, and like I said, you should definitely go check it out, but the whole point of a read-along is that I'm able to present the article to you and call out the most important things. The first thing that the article does is seek to set a very clear expectation about what goes on. The official rarity of a Pokemon card is what Wizards of the Coast, Nintendo, or the Pokemon Company International, that's what PCI means, assigned to a particular card. And so this is the rarity that you're going to find on checklists, on ETB lists, on any and all of those types of material. So it's incredibly important for you to be aware that official rarity is what the card is officially called from the publisher of the card. However, there also exists an actual rarity, and this is something that a lot of people need to understand. Obviously, many different cards can be uncommon or common, and many cards can also be rare. For example, you can have holographic rares, you can have non-holographic rares. Later on, you can have EX rares, you can have GX rares, you can have V Max, secret rares, ultra rares, gold cards, rainbow rare cards. And so you begin to understand that there's an actual rarity that is slightly different from the official rarity, because even though all cards might be just considered rare, there are actually a lot of nuances to how those cards are actually categorized. A perfect way of showing this is, imagine you were looking at a first edition base set pack of cards. You pull a Magneton in one, you pull a Charizard in the other. Technically, they are both rare cards, and so theoretically they should be worth the same amount of money based purely on rarity. But because the actual rarity of the card dictates that maybe Charizards are harder to get, and by and far Charizards are more in demand, there's a lot more money that goes into a first edition base set Charizard than there is a first edition base set Magneton. That is something key and very instrumental when you first enter the hobby, when you begin understanding prices. And so that's what actual rarity captures, that concept that not all cards, even though they have the same rarity, are actually equally as rare. And so with that said, we move on to the comprehensive listing and coverage of the different sets. And the article will go in chronological order, and therefore, so will we. Now, the first set of cards that it will cover is base set all the way up to base set 2, which means it'll cover the first 4 sets in the English trading card game. That would be base set, jungle, fossil, and base set 2. Now, back in these days, which were all printed by the Wizards of the Coast Company, things were considerably easier and simpler in the Pokemon TCG. Every pack had a set of commons, uncommons, a rare card, which by the way you are and always were guaranteed one rare per pack, and then every 1 in 3 packs you would receive a holo rare card. And so the 4 different card types were the commons, the uncommons, the rares, and the holos. Bear in mind, rare and holo are all officially categorized as rare cards, but in actuality, holo rare is a little bit rarer because there is a 1 in 3 chance versus every single pack having at least one rare card. And so things were relatively simple back in the day. The only real exception to this is the Machamp first edition card, which was available in a starter set. So that was the only card that you couldn't necessarily look for and have an issue with, because you could just get the starter deck and you had your first edition base set Machamp. However, obviously there were things like the Charizard, like the Flareon, the Jolteon, the Dragonite, the Gengar, all from the different base set Jungle, Fossil, and base set 2 sets. And so things were considerably simpler back here, but from here everything starts to get a little bit more complex. Next up, we have the Team Rocket to Neo Discovery era. Team Rocket is the 5th set, and this particular bracket of cards covers Team Rocket, Gym Heroes, Gym Challenge, Neo Genesis, and Neo Discovery. So 5 sets, and that puts us at 9 in total. Now, in Team Rocket, they did something really interesting. They introduced the first ever secret rare card. A secret rare is a run-of-the-mill card with a set of really interesting characteristics that set it apart from the rest. Typically, it's some kind of cool or chase type of card, and the one feature that it's always had is that its number is above that in the whole set. So for example, Team Rocket had 82 cards, and Dark Raichu, which is the secret rare that you could pull out of Team Rocket, was numbered 83. And so it not only had the symbol and the set numbering of the set, but its number was 1 or 2 or 3, however many secret rares there are. It is that many greater than the overall set. Now, the official pull rates on the first ever official secret rare card range anywhere from 1 in 54 booster packs to 1 in 108 booster packs, meaning you are typically averaging about 1.5 to 3 booster boxes before you were able to pull this card. It is said that this is pretty much setting the precedent for every single secret rare going into the future. Obviously, this card set a lot of precedent for the future sets. So for example, this characteristic of having a number greater than the set total is still in place today for Sword and Shield Rainbow Rares, Sun and Moon Rainbow Rares, and the gold-edged texture cards of the XY era. And in addition to this, they do have a highly exclusive pull rate, very similar to this one. Obviously, things have gotten a lot easier. It's typically now 1 in a booster box, meaning that you can typically get 1 in 36 packs. However, that said, you can still see that it still bears that above average sort of pull rate, where you really have to open up a lot of packs to get a secret rare. Now, with all that said, there is a random side note and slight deviation that I'd like to make, and that is for the Ivy Pikachu error card. A lot of people have actually claimed that this could be, by accident, the card that started the secret rare trend. And so this dopey little Pikachu might be the reason you have to thank for all of the shiny rare cards and all of the rainbow rare cards that we have had ever since in modern sets and every set ever since. Why is that so? Well, during the time that Jungle made its English release, Pokemon was printing a promo card that is commonly known as Ivy Pikachu. As you can see on screen, it's a rather simple Pikachu. It's a computer-generated image chonky boy, very characteristically Pikachu from back in the 90s before he became a little bit more slimmed down version of himself. And that greenish background in the back is why they call it an Ivy Pikachu. Basically, it looks like he's standing against an ivy wall. Now, there is a version of this card that just has a promo stamp, as you can see right here, and doesn't have this first edition stamp. If that's the case, it's the promo card that was given out in the United States. However, This first edition Pikachu card was mistakenly printed, stamped, and inserted into certain jungle booster boxes over the entire print run. And so there's a very, very small number of these cards that you can pull out of first edition jungle packs. And as a result of that, there's also a universal acknowledgement of sorts that it's kind of like the unofficial secret rare of that set, because as you can see, it says promo. It doesn't bear the set symbol. It doesn't bear the set numbering. The only thing they technically have in common is the first edition stamp. However, because this was sort of their accidental first attempt at secret rares, it's not a surprise that a couple of sets later, they did actually introduce another card, and notice how this was Pikachu and the second card was Raichu. There are a lot of people who would argue that that isn't coincidence, that is actually on purpose, and that because of this error card that was printed and distributed, this gave rise to the trend of adding secret rares into Pokemon card sets. Now, with that said, Team Rocket was the first to issue a secret rare card officially. After that, for Gym Heroes, Gym Challenge, Neo Genesis, and Neo Discovery, they went back to having just 4 rarities. So, up till now, we've had 5 technical rarities. Commons, uncommons, rares, holo rares, and Dark Raichu being the only secret rare up till this point. The next set is NeoRevelation to NeoDestiny. So NeoRevelation and NeoDestiny are literally sequential sets. They're number 9 and number 10 in the grand total listing of all Pokemon card sets that have ever come out. Pretty simple, pretty easy to remember. Here's the deal. In NeoRevelation, they revealed 2 secret rare cards, a Shining Magikarp and a Shining Gyarados. And these cards purportedly had a official rarity of secret rare and an actual rarity, meaning you could probably pull them 1 in every 18 packs. So in theory, if you were opening up one entire NeoRevelation box from the factory, you could theoretically pull 2 of these in a box, which means you could theoretically have gotten both Shining Pokemon right away. A couple of interesting notes about these 2 Shining Pokemon. They're obviously the first 2 that were ever designated as Shining Pokemon, ING Pokemon. And what's also interesting about these cards is that they are actually holographic Cosmos foil cards with the shiny Pokemon sprites featured on the card. So you do get the yellow Magikarp and the red Gyarados, similar to the way you had the red Gyarados in the Lake of Rage going on in the anime as well as the video game at the time. Following up NeoRevelation, NeoDestiny continued the trend of secret rare shining Pokemon. This time around, you had Celebi, Charizard, Kabutops, Mewtwo, Noctowl, Raichu, Steelix, and Tyranitar. And each of them was considered a secret rare with a number greater than the 105 original cards in the NeoDestiny set. These cards were printed in both first edition and unlimited, and what's interesting about these cards is that they did not have the Cosmos holofoil pattern of the predecessor Shining Gyarados and Shining Magikarp out of NeoRevelation. These cards instead were unique and distinct because the Pokemon is actually shining, meaning the Pokemon itself was printed with the holographic pattern only over the Pokemon, meaning these cards were very unique and distinct at the time, but on top of that, they were quite literally shining Pokemon. They were literally holographic Pokemon. And that's something unique because it is the last time you will see Pokemon cards quite like this in the entire history of the trading card game. A lot of people will immediately jump and say that Shining Legends brought back shining Pokemon, which is true, and it also brought back the distinct rarity symbol for these cards. However, all of the Pokemon cards printed in Shining Legends are actually shiny Pokemon, as well as bearing the official designation of Shining. With that said, the one other very interesting and curious note about these cards is that they had a unique official rarity of a triple black star holo. You had 3 black stars arranged into the shape of a triangle, designating them as secret rares in their set. Finally but not least, the pull rates for these particular secret rares was about 1 in 12 packs, meaning you could potentially pull up to 3 in 36 packs or 1 booster box. Of course, that is an average, so some people saw only 1 or 2, and potentially some even saw 4. But the official odds were somewhere in the range of about 1 in 12 packs, and as you can see, that was a considerable dip from the times of the Dark Raichu in Team Rocket. Now, next up is Legendary Collections to Skyridge. This era is a little bit expansive, and it wraps up the end of the WOTC era of Pokemon card distribution and printing. Legendary Collections is notable primarily for introducing reverse holo foil Pokemon cards into the TCG. So, reverse rares, uncommons, and uncommons could be pulled from a designated slot within the Pokemon card pack, and this trend has obviously continued all the way up till now. So whenever you're curious about why you're pulling these annoying reverse foil cards, know that it's because of Legendary Collection. However, I will say they're not as cool as they used to be. In addition to that, Legendary Collection obviously also continued the trend of one guaranteed rare per pack, and a 1 in 3 approximate chance at pulling a holographic card. With that said, you could now potentially pull a reverse foil rare card as well as a rare card or a holographic rare card. Immediately after Legendary Collection, we had the 13th English set, Expedition base set. Expedition is notable for introducing the E-Series card template into the Pokemon card trading card game, but you wouldn't see secret rares again until Aquapolis and Skyridge. In Aquapolis, you had the introduction of Crystal Pokemon, and Crystal Pokemon were unique because they were effectively a particular type of Pokemon. You had the introduction of Kingdra, Lugia, and Nidoking that were only available as holographic cards. Skyridge continued the tradition of Crystal Pokemon, but also introduced them not only as standard holographic cards, but also as reverse holo versions of the cards. In terms of rarity, Crystal Pokemon from Aquapolis were super difficult to acquire, approximately 1 in 36 packs, meaning for every booster box of Aquapolis, you got 1 Crystal Pokemon card. For Skyridge, the approximate odds were anywhere from 1 in 12 to 1 in 18, meaning for every booster box you opened up, you could be looking at potentially 2 to 3 Crystal Pokemon cards. Bear in mind that the increased availability could also potentially be because a Crystal Pokemon card could be sitting in either the reverse slot as a reverse foil, or in the rare slot as a holographic card. Now, with that said, that concludes officially the WOTC era of Pokemon card printing, and we now move into the Nintendo era of printing, which lasted a brief amount of time, but is still notable for a few different things. This particular era of Pokemon cards covers everything from EX Ruby and Sapphire to EX Fire Red and Leaf Green, meaning we'll start at the 16th set of Pokemon cards, EX Ruby and Sapphire, and go to EX Sandstorm, EX Dragon, EX Team Aqua versus Team Magma, EX Hidden Legends, and EX Fire Red and Leaf Green, the 21st set of English Pokemon cards to be released. Couple of different things that they introduced. There was now a new official rarity called the Rare Holo EX, which was rather similar in actual rarity to Crystal Pokemon or Shining Pokemon, with an average of about 1 in 12 to 1 in 18 packs. So, when you think about old school EX era cards, you should be thinking along the same line in terms of rarity as your Crystal Pokemon and your Shining Pokemon from the E-Series and the Neo Series sets, respectively. In addition to this, there was now the return of secret rares in the EX Dragon set, and this is the only set of cards that followed a particular pattern. They introduced the Charmander line, so Charizard, Charmeleon, and Charmander as secret rares in the Dragon set, and you got them 1 in every 36 packs, meaning you had to open up 36 EX Dragon packs, and you were likely, or approximately, to find one of these 3 secret rare holographic trading cards. Now, EX Team Aqua versus Team Magma did something a little bit different. They introduced secret rares the same as EX Dragon, but there was a little bit of a complicated schema to this. There were 2 secret rares, 96 Absol and 97 Jirachi. 96 Absol was included as a regular-sized holographic box topper for every single pack of cards. And so, for every booster box, you theoretically were guaranteed a box topper secret rare. You could think of this more as a promotional card because while it did bear the characteristics of a secret rare, it was not pulled out of packs, but rather just included as a regular box topper for every single box that you opened up. Jirachi, on the other hand, behaved more characteristically and more similarly to secret rares of the past. It had similar pull rates from those of EX Dragon, being about 1 in 36, but it was interesting because you had two secret rares, one of which was a guarantee and one of which was not necessarily a guarantee as you were opening up your packs. Now, of course, that decision made things a lot more complicated because for a series of following boxes and sets, there were now box topper secret rares that would be included in all of the different sets. So you had Absol for Team Aqua versus Team Magma, Groudon for Hidden Legends, Charmander for Leaf Green Fire Red, Charmeleon for Team Rocket Returns, Rocket's Raikou EX for Deoxys, a Farfetch'd for Emerald, Unseen Forces had a Rocket's Persian EX, Azumarill for Delta Species, Pikachu for Legend Maker, and a Mew for Holon Phantoms. What's important to note about this is that these were all numbered as secret rares, but included and basically guaranteed. And in theory, this does kind of make sense from the perspective of if you were guaranteed, or approximately guaranteed, a secret rare pull 1 in every 36 packs, might as well just include it on top of a box in order to save people the trouble of having to slot it into a particular pack. The other thing of note is that Holon Phantoms also was the last Pokemon box ever to date to include a box topper. So after this, that particular tradition faded away in favor of other promotional cards or other types of card giveaways. Now, all of that said, it should be noted that legitimate secret rares were occasionally included in sets as well. So for example, in Fire Red and Leaf Green, you did have secret rare Bird EX cards, and in Team Rocket Returns, you did have a secret rare reprint of the Here Comes Team Rocket card. And so, you did have a few legitimate cards sprinkled in, similar to the way Jirachi was sprinkled into Team Aqua versus Team Magma. Little random side note, but if you are a fan of the channel, last year around this time, I did a celebration, I think, for 100 subs, and I found a EX Fire Red and Leaf Green pack on eBay, bought it, we opened it, and when you know it, we pulled this Moltres EX. So if you're interested, I'll have that video linked down below in the description. Now, finally but not least, we move to the most important, in my personal opinion, set of rarities in the history of Pokemon cards, and that has to be Gold Stars. This particular section and historical period of Pokemon covers everything from Team Rocket Returns to Power Keepers, and that basically includes everything from the 22nd set of Pokemon cards all the way down to the 31st set, and includes Team Rocket Returns, Deoxys, Emerald, Unseen Forces, Delta Species Legend Maker, Holon Phantoms, Crystal Guardians, Dragon Frontiers, and Power Keepers. Now, the reason I say this is the most instrumental and important part of Pokemon's history when it comes to special types of rare cards is because of the cards we're talking about, Gold Star cards. Officially, they're known as Rare Holo Gold Star, and they had a reported pull rate of about 1 in 72 packs, meaning about 1 in every 2 booster boxes, which means there were some exceptionally difficult cards to pull. In addition to that, there are reports that towards the end, particularly in the Power Keeper set, Gold Star cards began appearing more significantly, with about 1 to 2 per booster box guaranteed, meaning that in theory the rates went all the way from 1 every other booster box to about 2 in every booster box. Now, a lot of people have said that Gold Star cards are by far the best chase cards ever in the history of Pokemon, and there might be a couple reasons for that. One, they feature some really distinct artwork, particularly as you can see here with this Trico, where the image of the Pokemon actually goes past the border of the Pokemon card. In addition to that, it has been noted that many of the Pokemon, particularly the Torchic and the Rayquaza, appear to be shiny variants of the Pokemon, and not shining like as in the Neo sets, but actual shiny sprites of the Pokemon were included for many of the Gold Star cards. And in addition to that, they were some fan favorites of the time, meaning between all of the different factors, these may very well be some of the most highly sought after cards in the history of Pokemon. Now, with all that hype said, of course, EX cards retain their same rarity throughout the entire time that EX cards were going about. However, the actual pull rates for these cards varied greatly. As late as Holon Phantoms, you could probably expect to pull an EX card 1 in every 36 booster packs, meaning that every booster box had about 1 EX card and maybe 1 Gold Star card. That said, later sets, again like EX Power Keepers, appeared to have about a 1 in 8 to 1 in 12 pack rate, meaning you could get anywhere from 4 to 3 and sometimes even more EX cards towards the very end of the EX era. It is thought that this is because they wanted to go out with a big bang, and so the decision was made to include a lot more of these types of rare chase cards so that people would really dig in and invest a lot in Power Keepers. Now, to summarize up till this point, there are 7 official rarities that we've gone through: common, uncommon, and rare. Then you have the rare holographics, the rare EX, gold stars, and secret rares. Now, with all of that said, friends, thanks again for checking out today's video. Of course, there will be a part 2 that will cover everything from the 4th generation and onwards up until the Sun and Moon era. And in addition to that, I also have to put out a video about the Grademaster. So the way that the next set of TCG Toolkit videos is going to work is you should be expecting a part 2 on this particular topic, and then we'll wrap up the other open-ended TCG Toolkit two-parter by doing a review and a comprehensive guide on how to use the Grademaster. In addition to that, I will also be comparing it to a caliper and making sure that we can decide which one of the two is better based on an individual's needs. So if you're interested in either of those two, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, friends, and turn on the bell notification to make sure that you know when those videos get posted. Of course, if you think I earned it, definitely feel free to leave a like on this video as well. If you have any questions or any thoughts about this particular topic, feel free to leave them below down in the comments. And otherwise, I will see you guys on Saturday for our next TCG opening. But with all that said, friends, thanks again for checking out today's video, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.